Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to read to you the first book that I ever read in English. So, when I came to Canada at the end of 1990, I was 5.5 years old, and I did not speak any English at all. I spoke entirely Mandarin Chinese. So, as a young child, it was very difficult for me adjusting to the culture, to the language, uh, making new friends at school. At the beginning, I didn't have a lot of friends, and it was difficult to adjust to this very strange new environment. I was enrolled in ESL, which is English as a second language. And as a child, I was introduced to a number of children's books to help me learn English and to catch up with my language skills so I could be on par with my peers. And the first English book that I ever owned in probably around 1990 or beginning of 1991 was this book here, The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. And I would imagine that this book also had quite an impact or equal significance for a lot of children growing up, a lot of new immigrants, and also non-immigrants who grew up in their native English-speaking countries. But especially for new immigrants as a kid, this was a very easy and fun introduction to the English language. And I remember this was the first English book that I owned. And as they say, you always remember your first. And I still remember and cherish this book to its day, to today, to this day. And the book is deceptively simple. It's simple. The rhymes are fun and whimsical, but there is a deeper social meaning to the book and to the characters, and that's for your interpretation. I recommend getting your hands on a copy of this book. It's a classic. I think it's one of those books that everyone should have a copy of. So without further ado, I am going to read Cat in the Hat. And in the style of how books were read back in elementary school. So our elementary school teachers would read, and then they would flip the book backwards or forwards, depending on where you were relative to the teacher, and they would show you the illustrations. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to read, and then I'm going to, as per the style of my elementary school teachers, flip over the book to show you the illustrations. So here we are. The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. The sun did not shine. It was too wet to play. So we sat in the house. Oh, that cold, cold, wet day. I sat there with Sally. We sat there, we two. And I said, how I wish we had something to do. Too wet to go out, and too cold to play ball. So we sat in the house and we did nothing at all. So all we could do was to sit, 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 sit. And we did not like it. Not one little bit. Bump! And then something went bump. How that bump made us jump! We looked, and then we saw him step on the mat. We looked, and we saw him, the cat, in the hat. And he said to us, "Why do you sit there like that? I know it is wet, and the sun is not sunny, but we can have lots of good fun. That is funny." "I know some good games we could play," said the cat. "I know some new tricks," said the cat in the hat. "A lot of good tricks. I will show them to you. Your mother will not mind at all if I do." Then Sally and I did not know what to say. Our mother was out of the house for the day. But our fish said, "No, no! Make that cat go away. Tell that cat in the hat you do not want to play. He should not be here. He should not be about. He should not be here when your mother is out." Now, have no fear. Have no fear, said the cat. My tricks are not bad, said the cat in the hat. We, or why, we can have lots of good fun, if you wish, with a game that I call Up, Up, Up with a Fish. Put me down, said the fish. This is no fun at all. Put me down, said the fish. I do not wish to fall. Have no fear, said the cat. I will not let you fall. I will hold you up high as I stand on a ball, with a book on my hand and a cup on my hat. But that is not all I can do, said the cat. Look at me! Look at me now, said the cat, with a cup and a cake on the top of my hat. I can hold up to 2 books. I can hold up the fish, and a little toy ship, and some milk on a dish. And look, I can hop up and down on the ball. But that is not all. Oh no, that is not all. Look at me! Look at me! Look at me now! It is fun to have fun, but you have to know how. I can hold up the cup, and the milk and the cake. I can hold up these books, and the fish on a rake. I can hold the toy ship, and a little toy man. And look, with my tail, I can hold a red fan. I can fan with the fan as I hop on the ball. But that is not all. Oh no, that is not all. That is what the cat said. Then he fell on his head. He came down with a bump, and from there on the ball and Sally and I, we saw all the things fall. And our fish came down too. He fell into a pot. He said, "Do I like this? Oh no, I do not. This is not a good game," said our fish as he lit. "No, I do not like this. Not one little bit." "Now look what he did," said the fish to the cat. "Now look at this house. Look at this. Look at that. You sank our toy ship, sank it deep in the cake. You shook up our house, and you bent our new rake. You should not be here when our mother is not. You get out of this house," said the fish in the pot. "But I like to be here. Oh, I like it a lot," said the cat in the hat to the fish in the pot. "I will not go away. I do not wish to go. And so," said the cat in the hat, so, I will show you another good game that I know." And then he ran out, and then fast as a fox, the cat in the hat came back with a box. A big red wood box. It was shut with a hook. "Now look at this trick," said the cat. "Take a look." Then he got up on top with a tip of his hat. "I call this game Fun in a Box," said the cat. "In this box are two things. I will show to you now. You will like these two things," said the cat with a bow. "I will pick up the hook. You will see something new. Two things. And I call them Thing 1 and Thing 2. These things will not bite you. They want to have fun. Then out of the box came Thing 2 and Thing 1. And they ran to us fast. They said, 'How do you do? Would you like to shake hands with Thing 1 and Thing 2? And Sally and I did not know what to do. So we had to shake hands with Thing 1 and Thing 2. We shook their two hands, but a fish said, "No, no! Those things should not be in this house. Make them go. They should not be here when your mother is not. Put them out! Put them out!" said the fish in the pot. "Have no fear, little fish," said the cat in the hat. "The things are good things." And he gave them a pat. "They are tame, oh so tame. They have come here to play. They will give you some fun on this wet, wet, wet day." Now, here is a game that they like, said the cat. They like to fly kites, said the cat in the hat. No, not in a house, said the fish in the pot. They should not fly kites. In a house they should not. Oh, the things they will bump. Oh, the things they will hit. Oh, I do not like it. Not one little bit. Then Sally and I saw them run down the hall. We saw those two things bump their kites on the wall. Bump, thump, thump, bump. Down the wall, in the hall. Thing 2 and Thing 1. They ran up, they ran down. On the string of one kite, we saw Mother's new gown. Her gown with the dots that are pink, white, and red. Then we saw one kite bump on the head of her bed. Then those things ran about, with big bumps, jumps, and kicks, and with hops and big thumps, and all kinds of bad tricks. And I said, I do not like the way that they play. If Mother could see this, oh, what would she say? Then our fish said, look, look. And our fish shook with fear. Your mother is on her way home. Do you hear? Oh, what will she do to us? What will she say? Oh, she will not like it to find us this way. So do something, fast, said the fish. Do you hear? I saw her, your mother. Your mother is near. So as fast as you can, think of something to do. You will have to get rid of Thing 1 and Thing 2. So as fast as I could, I went after my net. And I said, with my net, I can get them, I bet. I bet with my net, I can get those things yet. Then I let down my net and came down with a plop. And I had them at last. Those two things had to stop. And I said to the cat, now you do as I say. You pack up those things and you take them away. Oh dear, said the cat. You did not like our game? Oh dear, what a shame, what a shame, what a shame. Then he shut up the things in the box with the hook, and the cat went away with a sad kind of look. That is good, said the fish. He has gone away, yes. But your mother will come. She will find this big mess, and this mess is so big, and so deep and so tall, we cannot pick it up. There is no way at all. And then, who was back in the house? Why, the cat! Have no fear of this mess, said the cat in the hat. I always pick up all my playthings, and so I will show you another good trick that I know. Then we saw him pick up all the things that were down. He picked up the cake and the rake and the gown, and the milk in the strings, and the books in the dish, and the fan in the cup, and the ship and the fish. And he put them away. Then he said, "That is that." And then he was gone with a tip of his hat. Then our mother came in, and she said to us two, "Did you have any fun? Tell me, what did you do?" And Sally and I did not know what to say. Should we tell her the things that went on there that day? Should we tell her about it? Now, what should we do? Well, what would you do if your mother asked you? And that is the wonderfully delightful Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. I don't think I've read that book either by myself or out loud in probably more than 30 years. So that's my first time reading the book. Maybe a little bit rusty. Hope I did a decent job. Uh, I've always found this book to be really fascinating. I've read some interpretations of this book where the mother represents the government and the fish the sort of the surveillance system, the surveillance organ of the government, and the children represent citizens, and the cat in the hat is the free spirit, individualism, liberty. There's one very interesting interpretation as the cat in the hat is actually the hero, right? The agent of individuality, fun, chaos, randomness, liberty, freedom, that spirit to disobey, to yeah, that's one really interesting interpretation, and there are many other interpretations of Cat in the Hat. I thought that was the most fascinating, where the mother represents the state, and the Cat in the Hat is what liberates us from the oppression of the state. Um, I really like the fact that the Cat in the Hat cleans up at the end, right? So he's sort of a mischievous character, certainly, but there are many mischievous characters throughout mythology. In Norse mythology, there's Loki, who is the god of mischief, and he causes all types of injury and jokes and pain and laughter upon the other gods like Thor and some of the other gods who exist in the North pantheon. Um, he's kept around partially because he's fun, but also he causes injury. And during the end of the gods, when they have the last fight, Ragnarok, he actually leads an army of frost giants and evil entities against the gods. So he actually turns against them. So he's a malevolent uh, character at the end, but throughout most of Norse mythology, he's seen as a trickster god, and he has his place within the worship of different forces of nature, and mischief is, I guess, one of the human qualities, or forces of nature, or forces of the human condition that was considered sacred by the early people of Scandinavia uh, who worshipped gods like Odin and Thor, and Loki. In Native American mythology, I think there's equally a trickster character. I think maybe it's depending on which indigenous tribe you speak with. I think the raven. Don't quote me on this, but I think there's a raven character, or a raven godlike character that represents mischief, and mischievous things. I know there's one mythology from a Native American tribe where in the beginning there were two brothers, and one brother represented light and the other brother represented mischief and the and sort of like the darker side of things. So one brother would create day and the other brother would create night. One brother would create roses, the other would put thorns on the roses, and there was this duality between, uh, in one sense, good and evil, but in another sense, order and chaos. And mischief, to an extent, represents chaos. So in Native American mythology, I think there exists these characters. In Greek mythology, there's Dionysus, who is the god of wine and good times. In Roman mythology, he is known as Bacchus, and he is known for wine, women, and good times. So there's an element of mischief to him. So there is, in Greek mythology, the worship. Ancient Greeks would have worshipped Dionysus for parties, for wine, for good times, for these types of things. So in Christianity, unfortunately, I don't think there is a very positive version of a trickster character. I mean, Satan or Lucifer is seen as absolutely evil. There's no variation and spectrum there. He's just seen as the antithesis of good. So unfortunately, in Christian, if I dare call it Christian mythology, there is no trickster character in that way. It's the closest I can think of is Satan, but Satan is not mischievous. I mean, he is in the sense that he's causing mischief, but it's purely for evil. It's not for some benevolent or for good fun. Not in the way that some of the older so-called pagan religions, they would have a trickster character. And I think the Cat in the Hat represents that on a deeper level. There is an element of mischief that I think needs to be expressed in society, within us, within our uh, own personality and our own sense of self. Uh, I mean, Carl Jung, famous psychologist, he talked about different archetypes of our personality, different archetypes that we have to then unify to become whole, to truly understand ourselves. And these archetypes would be, for example, the anima and animus, the male and female, masculine and feminine energies of ourselves. He talks about the shadow, which is the dark side of ourselves, which potentially could incorporate some element of mischief. I don't recall if Carl Jung specifically had an archetype for mischief or if that fell within the shadow archetype. But in psychology, there's this recognition that the dark side, chaos, disorder is important. And personally, I think it's really important to have some element of controlled chaos and controlled mischief, and to push the envelope. And I think the cat, for me personally, the Cat in the Hat represents that. And he represents that in a responsible way, right? He's not an irresponsible character. He doesn't create chaos and leaves the kids to hang, to be punished by their mother. He creates chaos. He creates opportunities for these children to see the world differently. Absolutely, he causes a challenge for them, but he also challenges them, and I think in a healthy way. And at the end, he cleans up, right? He's not there to create permanent damage. He cleans up after creating chaos. So I feel that's really important. Like now, as someone who's as of this year, I'm going to turn 40. So as someone who is, by standard definitions, middle aged, looking back at this particular book, my interpretation of the cat is like a low key character. He's an agent of mischief and chaos, but a responsible one. And we all need someone like that in our lives, and we all need to express to some extent that version of the Cat in a Hat in ourselves, to be fully fulfilled, to fully self-actualize, to fully integrate, as Carl Jung would say, all of the archetypes in our own lives to become whole. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure that you like and subscribe. And also, if you get the chance to look at some of your old books from elementary school, I think some of the really well-written ones, some of them are junk, but there are some really well-written ones that have deeper significance that are certainly worth revisiting. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. It's the long weekend here, and I wish you a wonderful weekend, and I will speak to you soon.